Ancestral Lands Commission published the public meeting announcement for Wednesday, February 26, 2020, that's today, in the Guam Daily Post on Wednesday, February 19, and on Monday, February 24 of 2020. We have copies of those publications on file for those who may want to review them. Okay, this meeting is called to order. Attendance, roll call. Vice Chair Valentin Aguania has a family emergency. He notified me that he won't be able to make it. Maria Cruz. Here. Treasurer Ronald Eclavenia. Present. Anita Orlino. Here. Luisa Westland, she's here. We stepped out for a minute. Angela Camacho. Here. Okay. No, Executive Director Joseph Angoco.
I'm here.
Administrative Officer James Diaz.
Mr. James Diaz is no longer he was on a temporary detailed assignment to help us out, but he has been reassigned back to Customs.
Okay, so
we're operating without an admin officer.
Reassigned back
to Customs and Quarantine.
Oh boy, that's gonna... Legal Counsel Nicholas Top.
Here.
Land Agent Joey Romero.
Here.
Land Agent Liza Camacho.
Here.
Land Agent Ray Anthony Miola.
He's not going to be present today, Mr. Chairman.
When can Anthony be upgraded to just a regular land agent as opposed to a trainee?
Just to make a real quick synopsis of this, the governor supports people going to the CWEP programs, and that once that they've gone through training, they have to apply just like anybody else to the merit promotion system to become classified employees, and then we can when he comes about for interview, and then he can be picked up at that time.
Okay. Has he completed that program?
There's many more training there that he has to undergo. A lot of research. We're getting him into research, map reading, things of that nature.
Okay. All right. Next item: approval of the minutes of February 12, 2020. Oh, yes. Yes, we are. Thank you, Commissioner Cruz. We're going to go to the congregation board.
Okay. Commissioner Tulia. Saboru Purita Nota Fantamatulanya Itoto Ilugan Para honra, para gloria, viva Isla Sempara. Para honra, para gloria, viva Isla Sempara. Todo el tiempo para Hita, la bendición. Contra peligro, na pansaktuhan, Diyos protegi Island Guam. Contra peligro, na pansaktuhan, Diyos protegi Island Guam. Imastakilo kinasoko, imastakilo di corazono, imastigo na negação. O oferecem mais cedo para vai proteger, não defende, e hilengue, e cultura, e linguagem, e aire, kanon, sanitano, samoro. niden shokku yutsukkina susata. Esto afirma y lo Biblia del banderado y bandera guahan. ¡Viva!
I'll just stand there for a minute. Now we go to the approval of the minutes of February 12, 2020.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
may I just acknowledge that Commissioner Westling is back in the...
Yes.
Thank you. Did you sign everything? I did already. I'll pass it down. Sorry.
Motion to approve the minutes, notwithstanding any typographical errors.
Motion. Any second? Director Goku, here in having to do with the dormant account at Coast 360, I thought we already deposited an amount in there to take it out of dormant.
That's the executive and Director Goku here. This is an addition. This is another account. The landholders recovery fund was the one several months back that were in the $5 was placed in there to make sure they didn't go it didn't go dormant. This is another account, and the only reason that we found out about that is because I was doing the research to find the supporting documents and as to when the Ancestral Lands Commission started depositing their money at Coast 360, and I believe that was in 2012. It was pulled out of First Hawaiian Bank and it was moved over to the Coast 360 Federal Credit Union. I'm working now with the First Hawaiian Bank to try to get any documents they may have regarding the initiation of depositing funds with the First Hawaiian Bank and when it was terminated.
So the account is at First Hawaiian Bank, not at Code 360?
No, this is a Coast 360. It's just a different account. This is just a different account. It is one of the accounts that the ancestral lands has, but it became dormant on January 31st. If you remember, Mr. Chairman, that at our January 22nd meeting, I do not remember you were present, but January 22nd, Mr. James Diaz reported that he got the account balances, and at that time it did not indicate any account as being dormant. However, when I went up there a couple of weeks ago and I requested documentation showing the all transaction amounts that have been made into the Coast 360 Land Bank fund accounts, it was discovered that as of January 31st, there was one additional account that went dormant as of January 31st of this year.
So what is the name of the account rep at Coast 360 that's supposed to be keeping an eye on these things for us?
We don't have a designated account rep. I work with the commercial section there, commercial accounts. It was provided here in the last, I believe it was the last board meeting, that the account information was presented, and also the person's name that had provided it, because I had generated a memo to Coast 360 requesting research of said information, of requested information.
I remember when we first established that account, there was an account rep assigned to us, and if we have any questions, we just call that rep. Now we don't have an account rep.
No, we simply deal with the commercial account supervisor, and that is the person that we deal with. I do not know who the representative was there. Okay, but it is the commercial account supervisor that I deal with.
Is it going to be asking too much to Coast 360 to have somebody manage our funds and keep us abreast of what's going to go dormant? Somebody that can keep this, somebody who can deal with not various staff. We'd like to have one person handle our finances, our deposits and our bank statements. Can we ask that of Coast 360? Ask them to have somebody assigned, just to handle or to handle our financial statements here. Not financial statements, but the deposits, so that whenever we have questions, we can just call, or they can just let us know what's going on. Is that asking too much of them?
First of all, that's a good idea. You folks had that established. I mean, the ancestral lands has,
That's what happened. First of all, that somebody was handling it, and it's only one person.
Right.
Even at Coast 360, that's standard. Over $1 million, and you just walk in there and nobody to talk to.
That's not how we're working, Mr. Chairman. Well, how I'm doing it is that I generate official correspondence, so that we don't just walk in there. That when I come in there, they're expecting me. This is by appointment.
Yeah,
they
assign us one specific person that we go to all the time, or
no.
That person. First one available?
No. This is the commercial accounts supervisor. The 2 times that I've been there is the same lady. She's the commercial account supervisor, because as soon as I come in and I sign in, they call her.
What's the name of that supervisor?
I forgot, Mr. Chairman, but she is on the correspondence that's in our records that shows when she responds and she provides us the requested information. I believe the board officers can request that without the agency. The agency is tasked with many other matters here, but it's very easy for the board officers to just get the information directly.
Banking is different nowadays.
Chairman Ada,
Yeah.
if I may speak, Commissioner Westling, why don't we invite somebody from Coast 360 to our next board meeting to discuss these matters? I know we brought that up before, if we could have somebody from Coast 360 come over here. So I suggest that we probably put that on the next agenda to extend an invitation to them in between. And we can give a full report on our accounts, and then we can address that matter, about I forget what they call them, account manager or something like that.
It's a account rep.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the person that we don't have to wait in line. We just go straight to that person's office.
They don't make me wait in mind, Mr. Chairman. Once I generate a correspondence with them, they, as soon as I come in there, they're expecting me, and I sign in, and right away they go and get the accounts, the commercial accounts supervisor, and I'm called into her office. I'm not tenant to on the outside, if that's what you're saying. I don't know if they have the personnel to do it, but I do know that when I come there, they afford me the perks, the decency and the perks of being the director of an agency that holds more than $13 million in their institution.
That's good.
If you like, we can generate the memo. We can generate the memo and invite them, and we'll call them up to follow up. And what exactly would the board want from them when they'd be able to make it to a board meeting? What would the board want exactly from them, so I can include that in the memorandum? Because I'll run it through the CEO, okay, and then to the commercial account supervisor or whoever is next in the line of succession. Who would you want me to? What would you want them to provide for us? Because you are the board, you control the accounts up there.
Well,
let me know what you want.
It's been a while that we've been loyal to them, and we haven't gone shopping for better rates. We just stay with them. We don't know that there's better rates out there right now.
Right.
But they need to come in here. I don't believe that. I don't. How do you say? I don't subscribe to that we have to generate a memo and this acknowledge that you need to talk to them. There should be somebody already being proactive about that and letting us know, hey, you got an account coming dormant. Why don't you consolidate these two accounts for a higher rate or something like that? So let's invite them.
Okay, so I got it. So they just to give us a general overview of the status of the ancestral lands accounts up there, and what other attractive or better investment opportunities as available.
I guess the good term is money manager. They are our money managers, but if that's not in their job description, we need to get somebody that money manager or financial manager says, it's better if you put this into this account for this amount of days and you get better rate and like that. We need advice on how to best have those monies invested.
Okay, we can get that accomplished, Mr. Chair. I just want to reiterate that we have to be there in that Stony Clear key at 4:30.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion to approve the minutes, notwithstanding corrections and typographical errors, and has everybody had a chance to finish looking into it? To get it seconded? Okay. Seconded by Mr. Cruz. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Wesley?
I wasn't here at the last meeting. Do I still vote on the minutes?
You can abstain.
I abstained, yeah.
You can abstain because you're voting for
Right.
something you're not sure about
Right.
what was discussed.
Yeah.
And we still have.
Okay.
Okay.
We have four that said aye. The minutes are approved.
One abstain.
You do have a copy that you might be able to review in your own way. Okay. It's 2:39. Item 4, no business. Vita progress report.
Company Commission, my name is Diego Mendiola, Assistant Manager at GITA. With me is my staff, Joanne Cruz, and we'll be presenting our report today.
Okay. Diego, Tony Arriola.
Tony Arroyo is out sick today, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if I may just address the board, or Mr. Diego Mendiola, is there an announcement that you'd like to make on behalf of Mr. Larry Tobus?
I was going to do that after the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we're curious.
I was going to be thinking about it.
Yes.
We'll concentrate.
Anything about Larry doesn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, the following is our progress report on efforts to manage land bank trust properties as required by Section 1 of the MOU between GITA and GALC Land Bank Trust. Upper Harbor, parcel number 1, tenant is Quick Space. Tenant is current with its lease. Upper Harbor Reservation F12, Matson. Tenant is current with its lease rents. Portion of Upper Harbor Reservation F12, no change from the last report. AT&T, Tengisan Cable Landing Station, tenant is current with its lease. N5D, Manila Route 15, there's no change. Court hearing is still scheduled for May 27, 2020. Weddingdale Junction, Northern Market, tenant currently owes January and February lease. Current balance is $30,769.63, which includes late fees and interest. Tenant has been contacted to make payment immediately. Tijan Properties, EPA. GITA's legal counsel has completed its review of the revised IFB, and we are currently waiting for confirmation from GEPA with regards to scheduling for site inspection for potential bidders. Target date for publication for IFB is Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Anderson South, Marble area. GITA is ready to issue the DON and RFP for the long-term lease in compliance with Public Law 3499. DON is scheduled for publication on Thursday and Friday, February 27th and 28th. And that completes our report.
Okay, as for our announcement, the commission regarding Mr. Larry Tovis, it's with great sadness and also at the same time, well wishes that my manager, Mr. Larry Tovis, will be retiring effective Friday.
Wow.
And so he's here today to say his final goodbye, and that I'm not 100% sure, but I believe myself will be taking Mr. Larry's position after he's gone. So I'll do my best to keep up the work that Mr. Larry Tobis has established before me, and along with the rest of my team, Mr. Mike Cruz, Tony Ariola, and Ms. Joanne Cruz here.
Awesome.
Larry, they're going to come back on the contract. No? Well, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Really, my intention was just to come down and say my goodbyes. But I want to make this acknowledgement to the Commission. Since we started this MOA for the Commission in 2006, there's just a couple, maybe 3 of you, actually 4 of you that were with us during the original execution of the MOA. So it has been my pleasure and my honor to serve this Commission all these years. I've always been proud to say this, that the most the most significant progress that we've made, at least from the Judas perspective, is the ability to get lands returned to this Commission, to return those lands to original landowners. That's the one thing that I've always been proud of, and with the staff, particularly Mr. Mike Cruz, who's been by my side ever since. We've been proud to do that for the Commission to the beneficiaries of this trust, and this group will continue to do that for as long as you want us to assist you in that endeavor. But on behalf of myself, my family, we wish you all the very best. Thank you for your support all these years. I will miss everybody, but I'm really excited about retirement. So thank you again.
Question.
Yes.
What's your future now? What do you plan to do in retirement?
My wife's already got that planned out.
Huh?
My wife's already
You got a new boss.
Yes,
Boss, right?
exactly. So at least for a month or 2, we're going to be doing some traveling. When I get back, then we'll decide.
Well, best wishes
I'll
to
go
you
back to
from all of us here in the board.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Chairman, any words? Any parting words for...
Yeah, Larry, I first got to know you through our formal relationship between Nita and Central Lands. But later on, as I got to know you more, I find out that we have common friends.
Yes.
Your wives, brothers, my Corey, and like that. And I didn't know that until we started getting to know each other better.
Right.
You're a quality guy. You're very level-headed. And when you make your presentations, you bring us from where we're at to where you want us to be. We don't get confused. But if we do, you answer our questions very perfect, and which is reflective of your group and your mentorship to this guy. And I'm pretty sure he'll be able to fit into your shoes, even though you got a bigger size still, right? But Diego, you've let him do it for a while, and so now he's. I think he'll do you proud.
I'm sure of that. Absolutely. The transition is always the most difficult part.
Yeah.
But I think we're at this point right now. And again, we have an excellent team here, so
Exactly.
as long as they're
Yes, we do.
under your watch, they'll continue to.
And you're a Falco away.
Always.
I hope so.
I mean, you're gonna take a trip, but you're gonna be back. We'll see you
course.
around, no?
Right.
At Kings or wherever.
Time to come back.
Yeah.
So we're going to go back to the workforce, so I stay home and watch them.
You've got a lot of knowledge and to offer and talent to offer. So
Well, I learned from the best. The gentleman sitting right there.
Of course, yeah.
There's another guy named Mike Cruz.
Yeah.
I know Mike before I knew him from his wife and my wife are teachers.
Right.
And through the years, and then his kids and my kids are the same age, they're classmates. I think your son, right? Is he a doctor, an engineer? I know he's really into the science, right? Yeah. He's being humble. But we were able to see our kids grow up and grow up, you know, become their own person. And so that again speaks to the character of you guys. Right? If I keep on talking, I'm going to start crying.
Thank you very much, Larry.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, if I may just say some words of thanks to Mr. Tobis. Primo, I first came in January 23rd, 2019. I tried to bring down the consultation fee that you folks were charging the Central Lands Commission. After several discussions with you, you won. So I guess that I will be losing a good partner here. Thank you very much.
You tried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, seeing as you have a full agenda and limited time, thank you for that valuable time. If you have any questions, as always, we have a very clear line of communication with your executive director.
Yeah, there is one.
Okay.
In our February 12 minutes, Secretary Treasurer Cruz made a comment that she would like to see some kind of a report that indicates the red amount received, the amount deducted from management fees, and the amount issued to ancestral land. Do we have that report?
Yes, sir. That report was already submitted. It was supposed to be quarterly, and so the next one will be January, March, end of March, early April.
Okay. My fault, I wasn't in the last meeting.
You have that?
In the last meeting. Okay. I was just going
You have it already?
No, it was presented.
At the last.
Was it one, did you make copy, one for each?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll get my copy once I go to this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. That's done.
Okay, here you go.
Sir?
You're the only one that made it.
Yeah.
We're going to do ours.
It was my mother. She wanted me to take her. Otherwise, I was going to do it at lunch with the.
Yeah, that's another good reason that we adjourn at 4:30 because some of us have to do it.
Yes, Mr. Tolis has to actually go prep the church for that mass. So.
Okay.
Because if you don't take her, she's going to get you.
Yeah,
You have
that's
to,
why I had to.
right?
Yeah. She's my boss.
Right. Okay, say hi to her, okay?
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Where are we at now? It's 10 minutes to 3. Next item on the agenda. MD. Resolution 2020-03. Approval of revised DAC supplemental budget request proposal for fiscal year 2020. You have the floor,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, let me just start off. I'll just make it real short and sweet. The fiscal supplemental fiscal year 2020 supplemental budget request was approved on January 22nd with a quorum of 5. Yourself and Vice Chair Laguartner were not present, and the board had a chance to review and discuss and gave me questions. I believe I was able to alleviate the concerns. It is reported in board minutes in regards to the hiring of personnel, in regards to the purchase of equipment and supplies, in regards to contractual services. I just wanted to reiterate, we are starting from scratch here. There are only 2 employees plus myself now. We have a big task. I have given the credence and I've given the kudos to the board for what they've done since the creation of the Ancestral Lands Commission in returning properties. And then now it looks like we have to find a way to build up many millions more for the dispossessed landowners, okay, which is one of the other mission that this board and this agency is tasked with. Just to give a real quick summary, that the Guam as a whole, I believe, consists of approximately 130,000 acres of land. This is from my information report compiled by Land Agent 2 Georgia and Guerrero. Of that 130,000 acres of land, approximately 36,000 acres are still retained by the federal government. Okay. Approximately 1,950 acres or land, ancestral land, Spanish Crown lands or land bank trust, land bank properties. Okay, we have 2,000 claimants. Okay, based on the John Bond court cases. Okay, at least 2,000 cases. Properties that were properties, retained by the federal government, 36,000. We are unsure how many acres or thousands of acres the government of Guam has taken from ancestral landowners. They could range from 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 acres. We don't know. We all know that it was private property at one point in time or another. Whatever the situation may be, there are thousands of ancestral landowners, heirs, or descendants out there, and I'm sure that they're waiting for some form of compensation. To that end, legal counsel Nicholas Stockdale has prepared since 2017 and sent down to the legislature the draft bill based on the board's established policy and recommendations. Again, in 2019, when I came in, approximately March or April, we resubmitted with Attorney Topp's explanations to me, interpretation to me, so I could understand. It was resubmitted to Lands Oversight Chair, Senator Teresa Lahi. I have attempted several meetings, made several requests in person to her office and also by email. I have not received a response in regards to the for the action, any further action on the draft bill, the amendment to chapter 21, 21 GCA chapter 80. I will try again, and if nothing results of that, any results come out of that, I will move to. I am asking the governor for her assistance in moving forward with this matter to possibly have another senator introduce a bill. So that is where we're at with that. On the resolutions, we have Liza has made a copy of the open government law. If you look at it, it's in chapter 8. Okay. If you guys would refer to that, to page 11 of the open government law. Chapter 8, open government law, of 5 GCA. We go down to the third paragraph. Okay, the subsection 8113.1 is reporting requirements for boards and commissions, and I'll read it. The governing boards and commissions of all agencies, public corporations, and departments of the government of Guam shall provide electronic copies of the monthly board and commission meeting agendas, approved minutes, and other attachment and addendums as discussed in each monthly meeting, okay, to include resolutions. This is not written in there, but those are the other documents. To the Magalahi or the Magahaga Guam and the Speaker of the Legislature in Guam, no later than 15 days after the end of said meeting, and post the same on its website of the agency. Okay? Public corporation or department to which it governs. The audio recording of each minute of each meeting shall be provided to the Office of Public Accountability within 7 calendar days after the meeting. The Office of Public Accountability shall post these audio files on its website upon receipt of audio files. Okay? The reason I brought this up is because today is 14 calendar days after our meeting on the 12th when acting chairman, Secretary Treasurer Maria Cruz, and a quorum of 5 board members approved. They had approved the supplemental fiscal year 2020 budget, and a resolution was generated and was signed by Secretary Treasurer Cruz, an officer of the GALC, okay, and myself as the Executive Director. We had brought their attention again at the last board meeting to and explain. I did further explanation to satisfy any concerns that Vice Chair Ronald LaGuardia would have. He refused to sign. He refused to sign, saying that he was not at the board meeting on January 22nd when it was approved. But excuse me. That was mine. Excuse me. And the both resolutions here, okay. The approval of the supplemental fiscal year 2020 supplemental budget and the funding source, okay, 2020-004. Both of them were signed by Secretary Treasurer Maria Cruz and myself. She presided over the meeting on February 12th. We had asked Vice Chairman Ronald LaGuardia to sign, and he refused to sign. Okay. I had contacted you a couple of times, Mr. Chairman, over the phone, and requested it to come in because we had a deadline here as per this law that I just read regarding reporting requirements. The approval of the board as a whole, okay, it's noted. It's done. I've assured the board as much as I possibly could that I will move forward prudently and with the board's guidance, because the board is there, the board is established. It is a known fact that the board has a fiduciary responsibility to ancestral landowners. And although I work at the pleasure of the governor, I must work with the board in moving forward the mission or the mandates as per 21 GCA Chapter 80. To that end, I'm going to ask you again, Mr. Chairman, if you would be willing to support the board's decision, okay, by affixing your signature here, because I have affixed my signature and Secretary Treasurer Cruz has affixed her signature on both resolutions of February 12th of 2020. It is my intention to work in harmony and not to create disharmony or disunity with this board. Okay, so with that, I leave it to you, and I wait your response, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, whenever we approve a budget through resolution, also, it would be good to just attach what we approve. And then I asked our AG to initial. This looks like just a print MT. Is that your initial?
Yeah.
And that's how you. That's how you do it. So it would really help to, if especially when the chairman is not present when we approved it, it's for him to take a look at what we approved. So always have somebody attach what we approved.
Thank you. May I address the board, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Secretary Treasurer? We did provide it to we did provide the copies, or the copies of the minutes to Chairman Ada. And I did. Chairman Ada said he had concerns several times. Several times we called up. Several times I said I was willing to sit down with you and answer any of the concerns you had. Okay, I'm willing to do that, but you did not respond, Mr. Chairman. And so that's why I have to, excuse me, Secretary Treasurer, I'm still speaking. And so that's why I bring this matter today. I am not here to create disharmony or disunity. I'm here to put forth that I am working with the board, but some sort of semblance on order has to maintain as we move forward. And once the board as a whole approves a motion, then I believe that the officers of the board, as in my opinion now, should support the majority of the board and the decision. And that is my understanding. Thank you.
Always make it a part of the exhibit whenever you have this resolution. It's got to be a part. Like the second part changes a part of it, even makes what we approve must be a part of it.
As I have stated, the members of the board, we did provide Chairman Ada with all the supporting documents. We did provide it to him.
Okay, now it's my turn. Okay, the supporting documents are a bunch of numbers that I've asked Mr. Diaz, who is no longer with us. He returned back to his old job. I need to backtrack. In private enterprise, it's called objectives and goals. In government, it's called deliverables. And on the deliverables, it's same thing. Return of properties to original landowners, and then you put down what are the steps to be done, how much it's going to cost, manpower required, and all that. That's what I was looking for. We did speak, like you said, several times, and I also did speak with Vice Chair. We have an opportunity to speak to the rest, but the message that I got, or the feeling that I got from Vice Chair Laguana is that this 1,671,900,000 budget is only for 1 year. When that money, the windfall that came in was from the AT&T, we got 4.8 or 4.7.
4.8.
4.8, and I did say in the meeting, at this rate, 1.6 or 1.7, if you want to call it, round it up, this money will finish in 2 years. And so, we leave it at that. You said that we're going to do some development, buy and sell, and to create cash flow. So, like what they say in business, it's not how big your business is, it's your cash flow. Whether it's more in the black or there's more in Colorado. So that's a concern, 1.671. Okay. The other thing is when we look at Public Law 2545, our first mandate is to return land to original landowners. As of this point, I understand there are 20 that have come forward in that outreach. Everybody here, well, not you, Mr. Camacho, but Senator Westling, Commissioner Westling, Commissioner Orlino, really push hard that we outreach, right? We publish in the papers, both the Beacon and the Post. We go to the mayor's office. We go to the Tomorrow clubs throughout the United States to find these people. But that has not been done. Never mind about the development of properties to generate funds for the trust. we've got people that are dying not by the year but by the day. And maybe a lot of them, they're all dead, it's all the descendants and grandchildren. And there are people that come with having a hard time gathering their documents. Now I do know, and I'm aware, and I know about I'm aware of the shorthandedness. It takes a while to help these claimants to go dig for the records. The 7 requirements, tax rolls, family tree, things to prove that they are the rightful heirs to these properties. But that's priority number 1. Then, way all the way down in paragraph number E, the board of commissioners, the commissioners, quote unquote, as trustees, will go to the properties that have no owner of record and develop it to produce funds for the trust, right? We're putting their 2 top priorities, but we're putting the second most top priority in front of the first most top priority. There are people waiting. Now, I think it came to a standstill when 20, Joey, is it still 20? About 20 that have come forward since that publishing of in the newspaper?
We've had about maybe an additional 10 since then.
Okay, so those people, are we going to tell them, wait a minute, because we got something else that we want to do? I prefer that, and the sentiment is the same when Vice Chair Laguardia and I were talking. Let's focus on those properties. Let's get it to the owners. Last year, I said it a couple of times in a couple of meetings that can we give something to the governor to sign, right? All of last year, we weren't able to have a deep signing with the governor and have, and congratulate people you got your land back. So these ideas of surveying and putting these properties out to generate money for beneficiaries comes secondary. I know there was a majority vote, he said 5 out of the 7. Comes secondary to getting people their property. We've seen a lot of elderly come in here being helped by their family, and I think most of them are gone already, right? Since the time, and they come and they say thank you, and I said it's long time overdue. This is supposed to be yours. It's about time you got the property back. Now we have at least 30 that we need to take care of first. So we're not saying that we don't agree to, or I'm not saying that we don't agree to doing this. What I'm saying is there are people waiting to get their land back. And that's where we have a, how do you say, unsynchronized what comes first priority.
Yeah, I'm just a little confused here, and I agree with you that our main duty is to get the properties returned, but how are they being held up? I don't think there's anything that the Commission is doing to hold up the return of the properties other than people submitting the proper documentation, right, to substantiate their claims. And so I think, but at the same time, I see, we have a responsibility also to safeguard the properties that are in the trust, the Crown lands, And I've always felt ever since the beginning, since I became a commission member here on this board, I questioned, well, what exactly do we have? Have these properties been surveyed? Have we mapped them so that we know exactly what we do have? Because there was talk before that other landowners around there are encroaching and starting to possibly try to take what the commission is vested with, assets that were being held by us, so that we can, as I said, generate income and to do what the law allows us to do as far as development. And so I can't see why we can't do these things simultaneously. Okay. Not putting aside the importance, as you stated, to get the properties returned. My understanding in the past, there's really been no money to do anything. And so for years and years and years, as far as developing the assets of the Guam ancestral lands, nothing's been done. Nothing's been done. And, when I find out what properties we do have, I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? That belongs to Guam ancestral lands, and it's just kind of sitting there, melting away, so to speak. So I really can't. That with our vote to support a budget, I think gives us the springboard to move on doing things in which we have been empowered to do and tasked to do. But at the same time, not putting aside, as you said, our main goal of getting the properties returned. And so if there is something that's holding up the people that have come forward, I'd like to know what it is. If it's they're having to prove their claim, just like every other claimant has to do, then that's for them to have to prove to us so that we can get the properties back to them. But if we're doing something, which I don't believe we are, to hold up that return process, then I can't see why everything can't just keep moving simultaneously.
To clarify some of your confusion, okay, a lot of these original landowners come in, they're manampo.
Yeah.
What the staff of the Ancestral Lands Commission was very few. I think at one point in time there was 3, it's now down to 1 before.
Right. Is
that they come in and if they're primary, it's like they're the child of the original landowner.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do?
Right.
We don't tell them, well, go inside there and look for your map, or we need your tax rolls, or we need your they have a family tree, so they tell you what family they are, but that's about it. So the staff said, okay, we'll help facilitate finding these things for you, right? Go down to the district court, get into the records part here, and help get them their documents in order, even to the point when they make a presentation that this is our ancestral land, right? The staff sit with them, and they go through everything from the title search to things like that. They don't know how to navigate those things. So what's the hold up? Maybe it's not our mandated responsibility,
mm-hmm.
but it's our how do you say, Christian Brittany, our
I know what you're saying. I understand. Yeah. I understand what you're saying, right?
So we don't say, where do I go get, how do I go get a title search, or how do I go look for those records? And then I don't know what those numbers mean. We don't tell them, well, go and...
Okay, so maybe we're short on staff to be able to help them in that respect. So having a budget like this to be able to hire more people should help facilitate, right?
Well,
Then?
that's where I'm stuck. There's a number, here, right? But like I mentioned earlier on, when I started to talk, there's things called deliverable, right? In government, there's things called goals in business such as yours. And then from the goals, what are your objectives, right?
Right.
And once you set that out, right, we got 30 people that they don't know what the next step is, or they have an idea what the next step is, they don't know how to navigate, right? So when we put that down, it says we got 30 people, it's going to take 30 man hours, or I don't know, 7 times 30, 210 man hours, and it's going to take 2 employees, and this is what it's going to cost. That's what I'd like to see. Because these monies don't belong to us. It belongs, once we get that out of the way, then we got money to work on the building up that trust. And we still have to develop a list of beneficiaries, which we haven't yet even, right? So there's manpower required there, right? So there's a lot of things that have to be done before you just throw in, what was it that Lavanya told me? 16 employees. What are they going to do?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman. So when we vetted the proposed supplemental budget, we also asked the director if he could, at the time that he's going to hire, bring it to the board for our approval. So I believe that's on the resolution. Is that the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, if I might address the board, I did, and I also agreed to it in the meeting minutes. It's in meeting minutes, in addition to major purchases. I'm just going to make it clear. It's been approved. It's going down to the governor, okay, and then it's going to the legislature. But your concerns, I have gone out to the mayors on my own. I have gone down to the mayor's council meetings on my own to spread the word. We don't have a management analyst to prepare that information you want. I have been performing as a management analyst with the help of a land agent 1 and a land agent 2 that has put in towards medical retirement and is nearing completion. That one person, Antolin Mendiola, that's a land agent trainee, is not paid. That's said by the Ancestral Lands Commission. I went to the governor and asked to get the assistance of the best person they had down there in that program, because I need somebody that was reliable. Not somebody that's just going to come in here and powder their nose or be smoking cigarettes every 15 minutes of the day because they only pay for 20 hours a week. I actually spoke to the governor and to the director of labor, stating my need, because I came in and I had Joey Leon Guerrero, and he was getting stressed out and overwhelmed by all the work because we are no longer getting the assistance of the Department of Land Management and the Small Land Trust Commission, and I made that clear time and time again. That is the situation. There is no program coordinator. There is no management analyst. On the same token, I have networked with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I have networked with FEMA. I have networked with the planners here on Guam. I have a plan in action. I have spoken out in the meetings that you were not present, Mr. Chairman. And I have spoken, and I have spoken also to Vice Chairman Rondo Laguana, and I've told him we have lost records, we need research, we need land agents, we need employees to do the work. Land agent.
This backtrack, Secretary. You got somebody in your unit that all they do is powder their nose?
I'm sorry? No. I am referring to personnel that come out of the Department of Labor jobs program. I am not going to put them down, but when I go down there and I see what they're doing, it concerns me that they're going to be up here and be more of a liability working with the Ancestral Lands Commission instead of being a productive force within the Ancestral Lands Commission agency. I have known one that was working with the Ancestral Lands Commission. She started working here, worked here for 2 weeks. I made a report to the Department of Labor and the governor requesting that she be returned because it wasn't working. I observed her. She was not there. She could not fulfill what I required in order for her to learn something and move forward and to be a productive member of the Ancestral Lands Commission. And so I returned them back, which was my purview as the executive director. Okay, I am looking for every possible resource to move this agency forward.
Because it was not clear written description of what all those employees are going to, what their duties are. We compromised by, approving the budget, but the director would have to hire as needed and outline what this person is going to be doing so that it's not duplication of another position. So that was our compromise. So that was
okay, and Mr. Kamachi, you said it's included here in the resolution?
Oh, sorry, correction, it wasn't in the resolution, it was in the meeting minutes.
It was in the meeting minutes.
Well, we gotta formalize that. I know the minutes are important, but like what Commissioner Cruz says, if we make a statement here, we have to support what it is. Now, a resolution is just what it is, a resolution. And this open government law here, even though it doesn't say resolution, this agenda and approved minutes, executive director and local said it includes resolution.
Yes.
And it's 15 days to be required. So, well, that's new. If the minutes are, if it's in the minutes, it's in there already, right? We don't need this thing here. But this does not say in here that when an expenditure is to be made, that the executive director needs to come before the board to get an approval. He's got the dollar amount and off he goes. Now, talking about expenditures, that four-wheel drive truck, it was mentioned in the meeting when I said, that's a $37,000 four-wheel drive truck.
Yes, it is.
And I was told that it was budgeted by the former director of land management.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I took the opportunity to find him and talk to him. He goes, no, he doesn't approve anything unless the money is already been earmarked for it. And he never approved the purchase of a vehicle for the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission. So then comes my question: who approved this? That's not a regular budgeted item. That's a capital expenditure. That's a special item. You don't go up and just buy a $30,000 truck without doing it on the board. One more, 1.6 million. Go ahead, Commissioner Lynn.
Yes, Chair, may we take a 10 minutes break, please? I need to
Okay. Everybody
just
agree?
Yeah, 10
Okay, we
minutes.
need to get out of here by
Yes.
4:30. 4:30.
4:30, we have to get out.
3:30 right now.
10 minutes.
Okay.
No, it's 3:25 or 2:20.
Yeah,
I think
3:26.
it's running slow according to my clock here.
It's slow?
Yeah, 3:28 right now. Yeah.
We have to guide ourselves with that because
How many minutes?
we're in here.
So we'll come back at 3:40. That's 20 minutes, right? 2:50?
Oh, I paused it.
Or 10 minutes, right? 3:30, what, 3:40?
We got 3:28?
So,
Wasting
3:40.
your time, okay?
It's 3:20.
Is it approved?
3:20.
Okay.
So
Okay.
3:40.
Are we off the record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Starting now.
Mr. Chairman,
For your point, anybody? Butsi? Yes.
Where did that come from?
From,
Commissioner Wesley.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yeah, it's there.
you're such a nice person, Mr. Commissioner. You should go.
Okay, we have a hot mic?
yeah.
Okay, Liza. We're on? Okay, we're back from our break. It's 3:48 in the afternoon.
Mr. Chairman, if you wanted me to answer the question about the vehicle, I'd be more than happy to answer it.
Okay.
Don't make it too long.
No, I'm going to make it real short because the other items
Yeah,
in
we're pressed back for time.
But in regards to the to that 2020 Forerunner, the budget was approved for fiscal year 2019 in September. Okay, that's when they created the Public Law 34-108. It authorized that at that time it's about 290,000 came from the SID funds, the special funds that from money from Matson and Transsteel, and there's one more that's no longer one of the lessees.
Valley?
The budget was approved by the submission of Director Mike Borja and Deputy Director David Kamatsune. I came in, Joe Borja with Department of Land Management was tasked with by Governor Leon Guerrero to separate the three agencies as per her executive order 2019-001, the very first executive order. And that executive order said that the three agencies are split. Vehicle was taken away that we used to use, land management, and office space was taken away, and personnel were taken away. I came in and it was just Joey Lindwell. Gradually, in that budget that was approved for fiscal year 2019 that Michael Borja authorized, we need to get a vehicle, we need to get computers, we need to get personnel. I was only able to get 2 personnel. Okay, one was Maria Ariola and the other one was Liza Camacho. All right, as for the vehicle, I don't know how we're supposed to do work without a vehicle. Most of the lands that are owned by the Land Bank Trust, Land Bank, any lands that are owned by the Central Lands Commission, needs to be inspected, such as the inspection that we made up there on Route 15, where we're trying to go and conduct, do a master survey plan for many landowners that do not have legal or viable rights of way. I am working with that in conjunction with Public Works, Wild Power, Wild Water Work, Department of Land Management. So I hope that answers your question on that. The SID fund is Public Law 34-108. The SID fund was created by Public Law 34-108, and it was mirrored in Public Law 35-36. But Public Law 35-36 is the last year this year, this fiscal year that we receive general funds. We are not getting anything for fiscal year 2021.
So when Director Borja and Deputy Director David Camacho were in place, there was no such thing as to break apart the department. So
Nope.
when he supposedly budgeted for a truck, he wasn't budgeting for ancestral lands as the ancestral lands commission.
No.
No. But they work together still.
You know, the thing about government lands, right? And we all know that the lands that are stated to be given back to original landowners are just that, lands that don't have owner record because nobody's surviving, becomes a farmland. But the law, and I think the law needs to be changed, because the law says that the Department of Land Management will oversee all lands, whether it be some more land trust or ancestral land, because it's land that belongs to government, but the different mandates, right? So if the ancestral lands is going to be separated and no longer respond to land management, I think that has to be done by law. Because even when lands are returned, say some future lands are returned by the federal government, it first has to pass through the hands of the land management, and then the rest of the land management can transfer it over to that's what the law expresses.
Public law, Mr. Chairman, Public Law 25-45 effectively did that. Although there were, as Governor Gutierrez said in his transmittal letter back to then Speaker of the 25th Guam Legislature, Antonio Pinco, he said he agrees totally with the whole intent of the law. However, there are certain sections of the law that have to be refined. One of them being the draft bill that Attorney Ta has presented down to the legislature. Okay, but it was the governor, I believe it was Governor Eddie Calvo that created an executive order that merged the three together. It was not a law.
No.
It was an executive order. And all Governor Leon Guerrero did was she rescinded that and followed the law that was created by the 25th Guam legislature. It was a bipartisan effort between a Republican-controlled legislature and a Democratic-controlled administration. They came together, and in my observation and my study and in my research is because of pressure from Tomorrow rights activists. Okay, first it was the Tomorrowland Trust, and subsequently after that it was the Ancestral Lands Commission. Okay, it was in 2003 and 2004 that the new folks started giving away a majority, returning back a majority of the lands. 2004 going, that the employee number just dwindled. And notice, and I got it from Joey Leon Guerrero, notice how much production was accomplished after that. You have the employees, the work will get done. You don't have the employees and resources, it's not going to get done. It's a simple. That's all I can. That's all I can proffer, Mr. Chairman. But we do need to move on if there's no other objections.
Well, my understanding throughout the reason why they consolidated down here is because land management was paying half space and was paying rent to wherever the landlord is for this place. And as a cost-saving measure, but the law even back then said that if any land, it's government to government. Federal government would never give it to entities or individuals. They all give it to the government, and that's why that process was set in place to come to government long-term contract. Okay,
but this was it was actually under Calvo that where they got consolidated under one.
They merged
So
them.
under one director, one deputy director, as opposed to having three separate. So they were at a cost savings. So that was an executive order. So they didn't really need the legislature, right?
No, a governor under the powers and
rescinded the executive order. Now we're back to separate.
Yeah,
agencies.
right.
Here's the thing. Even during Carlos' administration, I questioned it. When he made an executive order that as a result of doing this, we're going to accomplish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think more than 3 times, more than 5 times, I would throw it out. You know, have we accomplished those goals set by executive order? The answer was no, right? But it's an executive order. It wasn't law, and because it's law, it can be rescinded. So this is another executive order. If we're going to look into the future of what this place should be.
But it doesn't need, what I'm saying is, it doesn't need legislative approval for the government to.
I think the executive order wasn't to rescind the
executive order was to undo the previous executive order.
Yeah.
We're back to separate entities again. Basically the legislature should.
That's no
And like I was saying, as a separate entity, the law was in place that if any land up to producer, it goes to land management. Land management would transfer it over to.
I don't think land management was involved in the return, right?
No, it wasn't. It was GITA.
It was GITA. It goes to GITA, then from GITA it comes to land management.
But of course, land management is involved in the process just because they have the records.
Yeah,
Right.
but they're not. That's why if you look at our approval, right? The stipulations, it's from GITA and then to GALC.
Yeah,
Right.
check at the deed, yeah.
Okay, we'll look it up.
So as far as I know, BLM is not involved in the transfer of federal properties. And GITA right now is still in the process of securing some other lands. So it's going to go from GITA again, come from GITA.
Okay, I think.
Okay, we're good. Can we? I suggest we table.
Can we move?
Yeah.
No, we'll look it up. We'll clarify that.
Okay, but can we table? We'll table
CMG.
so we can still review that. But this
So then this draft bill that Attorney Top prepared to be submitted to the legislature has already been submitted to the legislature.
Yes, it was submitted electronically by Attorney Thought. We're talking about the draft bill, Nick. That's on agenda, but it was submitted prior to that again last year when the board discussed it, and I went and I provided a hard copy to Senator Therese Delahaye. Okay, and she did respond. And told.
Okay, so for my clarification, then is this a reference to the rules and regulation, or?
Yes, the rules and regulations, the draft bill that was prepared, the policy that was established, that's been adopted by the board. But I did provide a hard copy to the senator. Myself, I hand carried it over. Okay.
Okay, we are at 4 o'clock straight. Mr. Colette, you made a suggestion to move to.
Okay, we'll see. So that, and we still have enough time to review.
Yes, I'm agreeing with that, Mr. Chairman.
Well, right off the bat in the discussion of the resolution, when Commissioner Camacho said that it was incorporated in the resolution that any expenditures still need to be brought before the board, I think that's a good idea.
Well, I think that was but that was for 2020.
Well, we cannot. What I'm saying is that we cannot keep referring to the minutes every time we say, if the executive director wants to spend on something, we say okay, and then it says in the minutes.
But it's,
What?
one point is the meeting minutes are identified in the resolution.
Okay, well, in my upbringing, right, through various jobs, my bosses always used to tell me, when you write something up, write it so that the reader doesn't have to go anywhere else to find additional detail.
Point of clarification, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
What I'm moving to table is FY 2021, and I think we're looking at 2020. So this is 2021 budget that I'm looking to table, so we can discuss it further. So
the 2020 requires a signature.
yeah.
No, it doesn't, Mr. Chairman. It doesn't. You can refuse to sign it. I'm simply affording the courtesy to you, Mr. Chairman, because it was approved by the board as a whole, unanimously, with the 5 members present. We have Secretary Maria Cruz.
So you're going to put your Vice Chair Ronald Laguna refused to sign, Chair Ada refused to sign?
No, that was a mistake. When it came to that, I was going to tell you, that was a mistake. It was supposed to be for Vice Chair Ronald Laguna, because he refused to sign on February 12th, because he was not present at the meeting. Okay, so it was noted down in the resolution. Okay, but you still have the opportunity to sign if you so feel that you should. Okay, we have until tomorrow. Is that correct, Isaac? Tomorrow will be the 15th day before we report, right? Correct?
Well, yeah, this, what do you call this? Deadline pressures. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't bother me. What I want to make sure is that the resolution is clear. And if what I'm hearing is that the Vice Chair and the Chair have nothing to say about it, then holy moly, maybe there shouldn't be a Vice Chair and a Chair. Now, I also know that what came up in the prior meeting is that you guys only make policy. You don't control what goes on. Well, policy includes spending guidelines. And for me, amounts have to be scrutinized because this money don't belong to us. It's our responsibility as, not as board members, but as trustees, and if you look up anything having to do with the responsibilities of trustees, we have to keep an eye on how the beneficiary's money is spent. Okay? And that's where I'm coming from. I'm just going from what the description is.
So would you then sign when we include that, where the director has to come before us when he's going to hire employees?
Well,
That was part of it before the hiring.
Yes,
It has to come to the board.
Yeah, it's not the resolution, so if we can, I think if it's in the resolution, would you be willing to sign?
Well, the thing is, again, deliverable thing. What are you going to deliver? What's going to be delivered by hiring 1, 2, or 3 or more employees? What's going to be delivered? That's what I want to see. That's what anybody wants to see. That's what beneficiaries want to see. All of a sudden, we got so many staff in there, and nobody's helping me research my rightful airship, and we did that out of the heart. The creation of ancestral land was out of the heart also. There was no way that ancestral landowners would receive their land back because they already received money, something like a fraction of a penny on the dollar from the military government, and they have no choice because they received something for something. They couldn't take it to court. That's why the legislature created the Guam Ancestral Lands Act, to make it happen, right? That's what this place is. I said it before too, our job is to make our jobs obsolete, right? We give the lands back. When we've done all that, we set the beneficiaries to receive their money, and then this board is out. We're done. We cannot stay in here forever and ever.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay, Executive Director, and then
May I make a recommendation, because it's been approved, and it's not because the signature of the Vice Chair and the Chair is not necessary. I have advised you of the law in regards to reporting requirements. The board as a whole voted and approved. The conditions were noted by myself and to comply with the board to ensure that the board keeps in line with their fiduciary responsibility, okay, to all the dispossessed landowners and all the beneficiaries. So that should answer any question. That is here in the minutes now. It will be put forth to the governor, to all members of the legislature, to the Office of Public Accountability, and the general public. It is there.
Okay. Just put in there that both the chair and the vice chair refuse to sign.
Right, thank you, Mr. Chair, because we've got to move on.
But I will put my, like you said earlier, no hard feelings. I will put that our obligation is to protect this money for the beneficiaries. Everybody has to live with it. 1.671 million for the first year, and nothing's going to go to the beneficiaries. Holy moly! I don't know.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, you know.
Thank you.
You know what they call this, and now I'm going to be very firm. You ever watch that movie, Wag the Dog?
No.
Huh?
What channel?
When you see the dog, you wag his tail, but now the tail is wagging the dog. Right? And we just got spent a few hours. All I'm saying is everybody has to live with their conscience.
True.
Okay.
My conscience is clear, Mr. Chairman.
Our conscience is very
Clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our conscience, the ones that voted unanimously, our conscience is very clear.
And we voted the secretary treasurer to be the
Fair to the
decision maker.
Same goals.
I really would
all
like
have
to
the
see
same
the director hire at least 3 employees.
Yep.
One be an accountant.
But we
the other one
cannot
an
yet,
HR,
right?
The other one a land agent. At least those, the 3. So if we can get them.
And we need
We'll start keeping it.
Why did Mr. James Beard go back to the airport?
He couldn't handle the workload.
The heat, yeah.
We're building an agency, something has been stagnant for quite a while.
All those decades of his experience, and he never encountered any.
He's also, I also brought it to the board's attention, Mr. Chairman, that he's got medical issues.
Why did he even come on board if he got medical issues?
Because he felt that he could be an asset, and then found out I had briefed him when I interviewed him, and he thought that he could handle, just to find out that he couldn't.
Too much on the plate and
There's too much here to do.
Or
Too much work.
as a trained accountant, numbers guy, he couldn't agree with this number.
Which one?
He put it down on paper and...
He put it down. He prepared it.
Yeah.
He prepared it.
But could he live with it?
He's not an ancestral landowner
yeah.
or a beneficiary. I am.
Why do we bring him here then?
To work as an administrative services officer, not as he doesn't have to be an ancestral landowner as an employee of the Guam Ancestral Rights Commission. Only the board members.
Yeah, at the airport, I'd like to hear from him. What's the
Sure.
governor that allowed him to come to assist us under the payroll of the airport.
Yeah.
The airport, it was the customer quality that was paying for him. It was at my request to the governor, Mr. Chairman.
Somewhat they call that detail, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Detail.
It was the best. How come they didn't bring somebody from the Department of Administration under Mr. Byrne? What's his name?
Because he's SpongeBob.
Mr. Chairman, can we move on? We have other issues. Make a motion to move on. We have other issues here.
Chair, can we move on with the agenda and what's on the agenda next one?
Attorney Nicholas Talk. New business, right?
Where?
Okay, we're on doing old business
Performance
evaluation. GLC Executive Director asked for 5 GCA Chapter 43, Section 43202 and 43203 Boards and Commissions, due date January 23rd, 2020.
If I may address the board, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
If the board wishes, I can prepare it, and then you guys can rate it. Okay, I can do it. I can whip that thing up in a matter of 30 minutes.
I would agree on that.
I agree
We
too.
could
Please.
evaluate.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You agree, Commissioner?
So my question is this something that we'll address in the next board meeting? He's going to prepare it and then
We'll address in the next board meeting.
Okay.
So you can table.
Or if you want to send, we have our own secure email, send each of us a copy so we can...
We'll do it in the next board meeting in Hardca.
I would recommend not because this is a personnel matter.
Yes.
Again, there's certain regulation, there's certain laws concerning personnel matters.
Okay. Liza, when is the next board meeting?
March 11th.
March 11th. Okay. All right then. Under new business, GALC agency, change of status, autonomous, overview, and legal considerations. Attorney Top?
Yes. So at the last couple of meetings, we've been discussing the possibility of Guam Ancestral Lands Commission going autonomous. I've discussed that it would take an act of the legislature to do so, and to do that, it would be transferring the Guam Ancestral Lands statute, the whole Chapter 80, into the autonomous agencies title, so Title 12. I've prepared just a real rough draft. If you could just pass these down. Let me keep one for myself. A rough draft of what that would look like for possibly passing on to the legislature. It's fairly simple in its language. It basically is just what I mentioned, just discussing the executive order 2019-01 that split us back apart again, and talks about how this is the powers and duties of Guam Ancestral Land Commission are for the benefit of the landowners and for the trust beneficiaries. It's not for the general public at large, and that becoming an autonomous agency will allow us to move towards our directives that much more quickly and easily, not having to go through GSA for purchases or hires, just basically just working with the board and the executive director and our own accounts. As we've seen in the past few years, we've started to get more and more leases and contracts that have increased our ability to fund our own operations. I believe that with the addition of Anderson South, 395 acres is a large area. Excuse me. And we're getting towards that point where even with the a lot of the board I can see is a little anxious about the type of budgets that we're recommending here. But we do have a lot of the lands available and soon to be available even more. We have the Route 15 Manguila lands. That case is coming up May, and I remember speaking with former Attorney Highsmith, and the current attorneys on the case, and Gita. We're fairly confident that that's going to go in favor of Ancestral Lands Commission. That will free up another 72 acres that we can then lease out immediately after that. So altogether, I think the direction of Guam Ancestral Lands Commission should be towards autonomy, given that we are being cast off the general fund's budget, and there's no real reason for us to remain a line agency if we're not going to have any of the benefits of being a line agency.
May I address the board, Mr. Chairman? As legal counsel, he's he's giving this a lot of thought, and since I asked him to look at it based on the board's recommendation, and this is basically what we have. We're not going to receive any more general funds, okay? And the general funds was less than 23% of what the entire budget was, okay? Which is basically about $380,000. Fiscal year 2021 is $290,000 just coming from the SID fund, period. Okay, that's what the fiscal year 2021 budget is that I'm doing now, that I prepared, is to amend that, because we're not going to be able to do what we need to do with $290,000, period. But going autonomous means, okay, basically we have to have our own accountants, we have to have our own HR personnel. You folks can fire my butt if you wanted to. You know what I mean? It's a totally different status. We do not have to share the services of the General Services Administration, which everybody in the government of Guam knows is atrocious. Okay, it'll free up. We can move with a little bit more latitude and flexibility, and all the more better, because the Ancestral Lands Commission has been held back for many years. And just as Attorney Tom put it, have the resources, the fingertips here to move. Okay, and that's all I wanted to say about that, Mr. Chairman. But there was 2 other issues that you were going to discuss. Report on the Benondon case, and also the non-appropriated funds that will come in place with.
Okay.
He's not done.
No. Before he moves to those, I wanted to ask him on the previous subject. That's fine. Because he wants to move into the 2 other cases, but I want to ask him a question about the previous case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to ask him anyway. Regarding the 70 acres.
Yes.
What was the date of that again? Did you say? You said there's a...
May 27th is the next court hearing on that.
It's right here.
Okay.
On the Gita.
Yeah.
On the Gita?
Yeah, on the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, hearing.
And you're saying that it's looking positive that we're gonna...
It's gonna come back
to prevail, yeah.
And what is that case? What is it entailing their argument? What is their basic argument on this one?
This is the...
I know that about this is the slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
Right, the district court case.
What is their argument?
Their claim was that they had timely filed a request for an extension of their lease, and our position was that they had not. And
so that's what they're saying, that they did file
right.
timely.
And then there's all sorts of accusations of favoritism and all this other stuff in there, so they lost the case at the local level, and there was an appeal filed.
And that's at the district court, right?
There's no favoritism in that, because in the first place they're the only one.
They're the first. To clarify what was there. Okay, that was it. Appreciate it.
Include that in your summary.
Yeah, I will provide that in the case listing and status. Okay, so the other matter that was brought up, Benondo was, if you were at the last hearing on the February 12th, was a...
the chair wasn't here.
Okay, I'll just explain it briefly. Mr. Benondo had a land use permit from 1975 for lands that have since come under the possession of Ancestral Lands Commission. And he had I believe, water and power hookup, but was worried about his ability to maintain those, and was requesting a temporary license. And at the same time, I think we were going to look into potentially doing some sort of exchange with Chamorro Land Trust to move to basically.
Is that the guy that was here?
Yeah.
2 meetings back.
It's up by the Wettengill.
But see, the first previews on their mom.
Mm-hmm.
The parents were living there. Then they passed on.
Yeah.
Then he took over. What did he take over?
The house
Yeah.
there.
The building and
Right.
occupying that since 1975.
Yes.
And he's occupying his right situated on ancestral land, or is he straddling?
No, it's ancestral land. There's a
The whole thing,
weird,
okay.
there's a portion, sorry.
Thank you.
So just,
You guys are fine.
okay.
We're talking.
The transcribers and our problem with
Sorry. So that's
So-
the story on that one.
Yes, it's a small pocket of land,
What's the size?
I would say.
Do we know?
That he is on?
Yes, that he's claiming at the
He's only
time
claiming
of his,
basically the cartilage around the house. He's not claiming the entire property. There's
where he's situated?
I want to say it's lot 10057. It's part of the large Wettengale area that was recently in dispute with the Guam Rugby Club and the football area. So that it's kind of like shaped like kind of like a baseball home plate, basically. You can think of it that way. And rugby had this top kind of rectangle up here. Football had kind of the lower rectangle part. And off to the side, there's a pipeline, federal easement pipeline, and the top half of that was given to Ancestral. But at the time it was given, there were at least 2 or 3 structures that had existed since way back then. And there were no efforts to evict anybody at the time. And it seems like the anaphemalic solution here would be to exchange with Chamorro Land Trust and let them do a lease with the occupants, seeing as they're pre-occupiers. So we've started preliminary looks into that, but during the meantime, the thought was to give them some sort of temporary license along with a waiver of liability on our part, if he's willing to sign off on that, so that we allow him to stay there and use his power and water hookup, but to remove our liability from the land, sort of in exchange.
What is he looking, a time frame? To stay there forever, like 99 years old? What does he actually want at present?
His goal is to stay there. His family has used the land for the last 40-some years.
Okay.
So I think he was hoping, he had approached, I believe it was Chamorro Land Trust, thinking it was on their lands and looking to get a long-term lease with them. And then found out that it was the Ancestral Lands Commission that owned it. So that kind of threw him for a loop a bit, since we don't have that same procedure and statutes that they do as far as the leases go.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to make this real quick. That Mr. Benondon, as Attorney Top said, this is basically just to remove any liability from the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission temporarily. We have been in talks with Director Jack Haddock with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission, and he will be proffering situations of which our legal counsel will be party to those proceedings, to those discussions, and I'm sure we can come up with an amicable solution that both boards can accept. Okay, and so that's all I can say on that. But if we're done with that, I just got one more item to report. Is anything else? Non-appropriate funds, Nick? Nothing really?
Nothing on that.
That will come in line with the autonomous agency status, non-appropriated funds.
So we're going to table this into the next meeting to find out exactly the size of the land and what's the next step.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So no. Am I correct in no approval for a temporary license just to get a liability away from the ancestral lands? In other words, so they can't sue the ancestral lands should something happen to them on that property because it does belong to ancestral lands?
Yeah,
I don't think there'll be any liability because in the first place, he moved in and there was a prior owner there, maybe not owner, the parents.
Yeah.
So from that to this, he should have known and come in at the onset
But as for now, I don't think the liability falls on us if there should be anything.
He has to have it in writing.
There still may be liability that
Yes, you have to
attaches.
just put that in the agreement.
Even if you treat it as a trespasser, you still have certain duties on your own lands towards everybody, regardless of their status. So this would be to just kind of clarify and protect ourselves as well as help him out. It's a mutually beneficial solution.
We're going to solve that pretty soon. I would say within a year's time, or maybe less, we're going to solve that situation. And I'm sure that both boards, the Ancestral Lands Commission Board and COTC, will come to middle ground, and that way we can straighten out this issue with COTC leases on ancestral lands property. We can fix it once and for all, because this is not the only situation that I've heard about.
There's another one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is just...
We got 5 minutes.
Along those lines, during the talk, Joey, did you do research a year back or 2 years back on even the picture of all those Tomorrowland Trust properties, Tomorrowland Trust lessees that are on ancestral land properties?
That was done by Margarita.
Yeah.
And then,
do we still have that we can share? Because this property up in Weddingdale, really, if we get it back from him, it's worthless for us to do anything with, because it's right, like you said, in the pipeline, and then it goes this way behind the building.
Right.
He rebuilt his house, and in comes another pushing for adverse possession. They've been in there for decades. Now we're going to chase. I think it's...
Fortunately, you can't adversely possess government land.
You can.
You cannot adversely possess government land, so we're safe on that account.
Yeah.
But it may be a situation where, and I've talked with the director on this, and the board has discussed it before, where we take many of these properties and do either value or size exchange. And there are some properties that the Chamorro Land Trust has that are valuable, but they're handicapped from using due to registration issues or things like that.
There
that
are
we might
some
be able
stories,
to.
like Executive Director has heard, where the lands were not clearly described. Like up in N5D, there's a Tomorrowland Trust lessee. There was this tin house there in the front. And but I think what they were instructed to do is there's Tomorrowland Trust property out there. Go ahead, because there wasn't this formality to actually assign exactly where they're going to be.
Mr. Chair, we need to wrap up real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, thanks for the reminder.
Yes.
Mr. Board members, just one quick issue. Deloitte & Touche is doing the audits of the GELC. The OPA is doing the audit of GELC. We had to go and get account information from Coast 360. The Coast 360 is charging the Guam Ancestral Lands Commission $25 for the preparation of those records. Okay, for those account records. Also, I spoke with OPA BJ Cruz. He will contact Mr. Joey Cruz, via his boss, Jack Hattick, to provide and turn any documents that they have from previous years. Because I do not know where those records are to comply with the audit requirements. And this is the wording of the Deloitte & Touche. Since 2016, it's pretty much been deja vu. That's the same thing. Records have not really been in order. And so we're going to straighten that out, Mr. Chairman. We're going to straighten that thing out once and for all. And that's the only report.
That's a yearly audit, right?
Yeah. So what I need is an authorization to do a motion, so we can do a resolution to pull money from one account to go and pay Posty 360 this $25 for that fee for all of those records, all that research that they conducted.
That's your request.
Only for the prior year, right? Because they got information of the year prior.
Right, but they're trying to look back and more, because like I said, they just pretty much said is they said it was deja vu and it's never been released since 2016. They're not satisfied.
We need
Is
to
it deducted from the account already?
I need to
Okay.
pay the...
Okay, so it's been, I'm correct, I'm sorry. I stand corrected, it was deducted from the account.
Already
Receipt
Okay.
and back.
Oh, the
Okay.
statement from the checking account?
Oh, that's what that,
Yeah.
that's what that is.
The receipt
This
there
one
is
right
showing
here.
what account they deducted it
I
from.
stand corrected, Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
That's the one in the back, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay,
Post
okay.
360.
That's what I'm seeing
That's
right
the
there.
account that we approved, right?
Yeah, that's it, right.
Yes.
Anything else, our goal of 1:30 has been exceeded by 2 minutes.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, if there's no opposition to it, this meeting is adjourned.
Yay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Thank you very much, buddy. I do appreciate it.
I made the motion to adjourn.
Yeah.